Welcome to Martini Time. I was giving a talk yesterday evening, and about 4 minutes into it, it says lost connection. Sorry. So we'll see if we can get through this. So today, went to a funeral. My son's wife's father died, John Wells, lived in Victoria. He was a retired teacher and superintendent, but he was known for his passion to collect Indian arrowheads, the little flints, from the tribes that lived in the Roanoke Valley, and their flint arrowheads buried in the soil of this area became his passion. And even dug out his basement so he could house the collections. He would go on these trips, to find for digs, and he discovered he became an expert and an authority on archaeology of the Indian tribes of this area that go back thousands of years. And recently, his son built a building, a museum on their property, where they housed all of these artifacts. And the way John Wells displayed the artifacts was art. I don't have a picture here, but they would be huge mosaics of the Indian arrowheads, the flints, arranged in mandalas. So there was a completion about these fragments that struck me, that struck my heart. This whole he didn't just have a box of flints, and he cataloged every one he found. So every piece he found, thousands and thousands of them, every piece he found, he had a number, and that was located. That was in his log. That located where that piece was found. So you could look at the map, and if you took the time, I guess, to study or research, and you could look and track back where all these flints were found, and probably map out the movements of tribes. I don't know, but anyway, this was his memorial. Talk at the funeral basically was about this passion of his, not only for collecting and finding and collecting and organizing the remnants of these ancient tribes, Indian tribes, this past civilization, understanding our civilization is built on the civilization, the culture of these Indians, these Indian tribes, who built on top of other Indian tribes. Some of these go back really a long ways, you see. And so while he was a teacher and a principal and a superintendent, assistant superintendent in the schools, what he's known for, what's interesting about him, what is fascinating about him is his passion to collect Indian arrowheads, little flints, pieces. They're small, little flints, some big, some spearheads. He collected everything, bones, pottery, the works, But the arrowheads are very small or very big, So and all of them, are named and have a time, location, and everything. So I was thinking today about this passion that a few of us have. Some of us have a passion, all of us have this some remnant, something resembling this. I call it the passion to integrate. It's called the collector's passion. How many of you collect stuff? Some people collect. I remember when I was writing for the Courier Record, I was always writing stories about people who had collections, salt and pepper collections, Because one lady had salt and pepper collection, all of the walls, she couldn't stop. Salt and pepper shakers, matchbooks, trains. My uncle, martini glasses. 500 of these martini glasses. Never duplicated one. Never. Just beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, he lived in Tampa, where there were a lot of gift shops and art galleries. And so he scoured, he cleaned up. People, hey, Tommy, we got a new martini glass for you. Right, boom, right there. Some of them he spent hundreds of dollars for. So I look at this. What is this integrating principle that we have? So what is, it takes the form. It's kind of like a force or a principle that takes a form in our life. So whatever we do, some people collect. My wife's mother collected Harlequins. She liked to read them, but she also saved them. So it was a collection and a reading. And the walls of this house were wall-to-wall Harlequins. Never threw one away, And so, this collecting, people collecting stuffed dolls or whatever it is, what is that? What's the principle here? I wonder. I look at, what is it that's universal about this that creates a passion? Sometimes, I don't know, like the story was with John Wells was he was a farm boy. He grew up on a farm, and they had to plow the ground. He had a mule. And I think he was 82 when he died. So they plowed with a mule, I think, and as a boy, and he would find these little arrowheads in the soil of the farm. And something lit, some passion started that carried him all the way through his life. That one fire never went out. What is that, you see? It's like, and my uncle, of course, he used to collect other things before he got the passion to do martini glasses, when he retired. But it's kind of like putting the pieces back together. So look at this. You see here, look at this. You see this the Christian, the core of the principle of Christianity is putting the fragments back together. The bread is broken, and Christ puts it back together. So the Christ principle here, now we're not talking about Jesus, the physical Jesus, and all the biblical stories in that. We're trying to get at something that's universal, that's in all of us. We're trying to get to something that we can touch in our own life. Because, when you talk about Jesus and Christ, it's all locked up in a story, in a book, in a Bible, in a church, And if you want to get in touch with it, you got to go and understand it through that lens, you see. But that doesn't translate into everyday life and collecting martini glasses or arrow flints. You see, how is collecting the arrow flints connected with the principle of Christ? Well, I'm interested in that, you see. I want to know. I guess I'm an integrator myself. I integrate ideas. I integrate principles. I integrate what I see, and I try So it's like a sleuth connecting dots. What is the sleuth? What is the detective collecting dots, clues for? To get the whole, to get the idea, to get the resolution, to get the unit, to get the whole, the one, to get the one. Of course, in the mystery, you get the one who did it. There's the one. There's only one who did it, you see. So you collect the dots. You collect the clues to get to the one. So is not the collector of arrowheads collecting everyone he feels? It's like everyone he picks up. Oh, it's so precious, you see. Why is this? I just found a new one. Oh, it's so precious. You see, why is that? Because the one he just picked up, while it's a fragment, also is the one. So my uncle, collecting martini glasses. And he's not using them. I'm trying to go through them slowly. But each one was, when he sees it, when he sees the new martini glass, when John Wells sees the new Arrowhead, it's the one. It's the one. But it's not the one. Because you look at his collection, he's got thousands of ones. He's got thousands of arrowheads on the walls of his museum. But when he finds it, each one is the one. So it's the one looking for the one. The whole looks for itself. God looks for itself. God looks for himself so he can know himself as the one. Or you could say the Christ looks for himself to know himself as the one. But he looks for himself in the fragments of phenomenal reality, which is where we live. We live in a fragment of things. Everything is broken. You see, all this, everything is a piece. Everything here, everything in your house, everything in your, is fragments. You see, what I mean is, you look where you are right now. Excuse me. Everything in your house right now, if you're in your house, are pieces. What's the one that holds it? Well, the house is the one. The house, your home, is the one, you see. So if you go away and you come, and maybe your house burns down, and you come back and you find one thing. You find one thing in your house. You find that. It's the one. Oh, look what I found. Everything else is gone, but I found this, you see. This is the one. This is the whole house is right there. Mr. Bean did this. You love Mr. Bean? So he loses his car. It gets runs over by a tank. And he looks at the rubble. And he finds maybe a lock or some one little thing. And he holds it up like, I found the one. And he's all right. He's got, he's got the one. But the point is here is that the integrating principle, when it's alive in you, wants to integrate, wants to keep finding the pieces of the one. And we all of our vocations, all of our when you have a passion for whatever it is, rescuing children, collecting dogs, collecting dishes, collecting ants, collecting bugs, I don't care what it is. If you have a passion for collecting, you are participating in the passion of God. You are participating in the passion of Christ to unite the one, to bring you home, to bring the pieces back, to bring the children home, for the one to know the one. Can you see, can you get a sense of this? Going home, collecting all of our movies, all of our stories, all have this principle working. The passion to integrate, to bring the pieces together, to bring the children of Israel together, to bring the Christians together in the Eucharist, you see, in the one, when the many become the one. So this is not a Christian thing or a Muslim thing or a Buddhist thing. It's a life thing. It's a life principle. This is what life does, you see. And we're all life. We think we're outside of it. We think we're outside of nature. We think we're looking at nature from like an alien. We think we're outside of our own experience. But we are the cosmos, aware of itself. We're the cosmos knowing the one. We're the cosmos discovering itself as the one cosmos. There's not many cosmoses. There's the one, and there's the many. The one is the many is the one. So this is the mystery of life, you see. The one is broken, but the one never breaks. So the one, our origin, that which is In Zen, it's called, who was your parents before you were born? Well, you were the one. And then the parents and the breaking up into two, and then you, and then there's the fragmenting of you into all of our feelings and passions and ideas and experiences and yada, yada, yada. All of our pieces. The piece of me that's at work, the piece of me that's at home, the piece of me that's on vacation, the piece of me that's quiet, the piece of me that's angry. All of these little pieces of me. They just come and go like snowflake. 1 minute I'm angry, the next minute I'm 1 minute I'm happy, 1 minute I'm sorrow, you see. All these pieces. But our culture, what we do, well, we'll put it all together when we die. We'll go to a better place where we'll be at peace. Well, when we die, we'll be at one. You see, that's kind of like, you got to put up with it. You got to put up with being broken up and fragmented. You got to put up with it. Have a stiff upper lip, and just do good. And when you die, you'll be at peace. You'll be at one. Then peace is peace. One and peace is the same thing. Unity is peace. No conflict. No fragments. You see. But when you have the passion to collect, that's the passion to integrate. So every new piece you find, and somebody else comes in and looks at it and says, well, they all look the same to me. Oh no, you say, each one is unique. Each one, all of my uncle's martini glasses, each one was unique. When he saw it, it was the one. When he saw it, it was the Christ, you see. It was the one. It was the Holy Grail. And then after he got it, it became, I got to get another one. I got to keep this Eucharist going. I've got to keep the one going. I've got to keep finding the one. The next one will be the one that ends the search. But it isn't. So you got to get another one and another one. And the next thing you know, your house is full of them. Cat ladies. I got to get one cat. No, I can't. This is the number 2. I got a whole house full of cats. I don't know how it happened. You see? But just think about what is the principle going on here? What is the force, the drive for this, you see? It's the drive of Christ to restore the one. But as soon as I say Christ, we put it into a religion, into a church, into the Bible, and that ruins it. I mean, it's okay to be there, but it's locked up in a little room in the house. Doesn't cover the whole cosmos, doesn't cover your whole life. You don't see the Christ in your martini glass collection, or your marble collection, or your arrowhead collection. You don't see the Christ working in that, you see, to integrate the world, the whole cosmos, and restore the one. But you see, the thing is, when you are restoring the one, take John Wells with Arrowheads, you see. So every one he finds is the one that holds all the arrowheads. Just like in your body, every cell has the DNA of the whole body. In a hologram, every point in a hologram holds the whole hologram. So everything in the world holds the one. It's the one and the many simultaneously, but they're separate. And this is the mystery. It's the one and it's the many. But they're not the same, yet they're one. And in Zen it's called not one, not two. See, so the many is in the one is in the many. So every one of us is the one. Every one of us is the totality. Every one of us is God. But then every one of us is not God. We're the many, but we're the one. And this is a mystical union of Christ. This is the mystical body of Christ. The being, the magical insight that sees the one in the many and the many in the one. Bam, you see. And I saw that today in John Wells' passion for arrowheads. And in my uncle's passion for martini glasses. So for the collector, when you see that new, even though you might have 1,000 of them, you see that one. Oh, this is the one. It's so beautiful. It's the one. You see, it's the principle, it's the bringing together that gives the passion and the joy. I've got one more child here. I brought one more Vietnam vet home. I've brought one more orphan home. I've brought one more wounded veteran. Whatever it is, I brought one more lost child home, you see. And this becomes a passion, a love that won't let a person die. It won't let them go. It's their life, you see. Bringing whatever it is, whatever vocation, whatever form it is, you see. So we're all, in our own way, you see, we're participating in the restoration of the one. And we have to do it in some unique way. Each of us does it, you see. We all can't do it the same way because we're all unique. We're all the unique one, you see. And this is where we get hung up with Jesus. He was the unique one. Well, he had miracles and did all that, but he was unique one. You see, he was the Son of God, so he could do that. We can't do it. We're not unique. We're not God. Only he was, you see. He was the unique one. Well, that's where we miss the boat, because you are the unique one. You are the whole cosmos in you. Just like all of the arrowheads in the world are in that one when John Wells finds it. Or all the martini glasses in the world are in that one when my uncle finds it and lights up. I found the one. This is the one, But since we're in time, it doesn't stop with the one. So it's an unfolding of the one. It's an unfolding of the integration of the one, you see. It never arrives. It says, I'm the one, and that's it. Life stops. You see, so life is a creative unfolding of the one seeking the one. Anyway, thanks for dropping in. And I don't think it went off. Looks good. Good.